Hello, ladies. It's me again, pushing through to get to you. For some reason, when I put it on the video, it's always dark. On the regular camera, it's bright, and I don't know how to fix it. So we're going to work with what we got. Hello again. It's me, pushing through to get to you. All right. I wanted to talk to you about your superpowers. Hallelujah. Okay, first of all, there's a song that I believe Mary sings. It's the God in you. It's the God in me. It's a beautiful song. I'm not going to go into it or anything, but it's a beautiful song. But I want to talk about our superpowers. We're mostly taught that our superpowers come from outside things. But I want to tell you today it's the most wonderful inside thing to you who believe in God and who are Christians. To other people, you might have to look and find it, understand it differently. I'm going to say it like that. Okay, but this is the wonderful thing. God is a superpower in us, but as well as Him being a superpower, He gives us the ability to be a superpower too. Again, God is a superpower in us, but He gives us the ability to be a superpower too. It doesn't mean that you buck up against big, strong men, or you knock down buildings, or you are able to go into a phone booth and become Superman, or you're able to have the highest level of education, or you're able to scale the best heights and jobs. Your superpower is your ability to love yourself. Your superpower is your ability to back yourself up. Your superpower is your ability to encourage yourself. Your superpower is your ability to get back up when you fall down. Your superpower is your ability to see the sun when it's a cloudy day. Your superpower is your ability to redefine yourself if you feel it's necessary, and to maintain who you are if you don't. Those are superpowers. Another superpower is to wake up every day and keep going. I want to encourage you. I really, really want to encourage you today because I'm so happy. And I'm happy because I want to show you something. When I started recognizing my superpower, I went out and got this. How many of us are waiting for somebody to come along and buy us some roses? That's a beautiful thought. And it can happen. I don't want to doubt that in any way, shape, or form. It can happen. It really can. But you can do it too. Guess what? The smile on my face is just as bright and big as if somebody else would have bought it for me. That's a superpower. I'm telling you. Now, some people, flowers don't do it for them. They would like a nice big box of chocolates, and they've convinced themselves, okay, I weigh too much. All of this stress and everything has hit me so hard, I weigh too much. You don't have to have 15 boxes of chocolate, but you can go get that one. Go get that one, and every time you bite into it, enjoy every single bite. Somebody's superpower might not be having the chocolates that they want. To some people, it's just that really good Starbucks cup of coffee. And it's just perfect at Starbucks. To get in your car, get on the bus, take a jog run, go to Starbucks and get your favorite cup of coffee. You know what? Add a slice of cake to that if you want to. Now, I want to tell you something that just came to me yesterday. A lot of times we say to ourselves, our superpower is getting our kids up for school every day. Our superpower is taking their lunches, getting their lunches, taking them to doctors, and all those wonderful things that you do that you are so wore out at the end of the week from. But I tell you, without the real superpower, you are not able or capable of doing any of those things well. You can do them, but you won't do them well. So once you discover that you like the smell of roses or the smell of any flowers, and you can have that smell under your nose sometimes. That's a superpower. Once you realize that jogging down the street seems to change the whole outlook of how you see things, that's a superpower. To decide that today I'm going to comb my hair or today I'm not. If today is what I want to do is stay in bed all day long and just think about me and think about what I want to do and where I want to go and how I want to move, that's a superpower. Like I said before in the other video, some things do not afford us the same things. Sometimes you don't have the money for certain things, but you know where flowers are. Go pick some. Sometimes before we get to a rose, we have a couple of yellow dandelions in a cup. It's okay. The dandelions could be a premise to the roses that are going to come later. Your superpower is your strength, your ability to see past what you see, your ability to move past the barriers that you seem to feel are before you. I always say this, there are 50 ways to do a thing, not because there are really actually 50 ways to do a thing, but because basically you have the ability to discern other ways to do the same thing. You might walk to a corner store today and you might take a straight route all the time, but they're doing construction on the street. You can't take the straight route. You might have to take a longer route. You might have to get in somebody's car and let them take a longer route. You might have a ride that cancels on you, so you have to take a bus. But the ability to think, the ability to function, the ability to plan, the ability to move fast when you don't have a plan, those are superpowers. And guess what? You have it. I want you to be encouraged about this. Everything about you is wonderful. From the time you were in your mother's womb, wanted or not, it was a wonderful thing. Because the mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, decided to knit you together. Not only did he decide to knit you together, he allowed you to be birthed through the canal and to make it here. There was somebody named Moses in the Bible, and Moses had a problem with stuttering, stammering. And he was raised, originally, he was a Hebrew child. And the Pharaoh of Egypt wanted to destroy all the Hebrew children 2 and under. But some kind of way, God blessed his mother to save his life. Well, as the story goes, he moves on into his mother trying to put him in a basket and on some water to save his life because he got bigger and it was more inevitable that they could be caught with the baby. So they put the baby in the basket. They send the baby across the water. The sister is watching as the baby goes across the water. And one of the princesses or whatever of Egypt, she takes him out of the water and she makes him her own. Then the little girl who is his sister goes and tell her about the mother that she can wean him, feed him breast milk to keep him alive and stable till he grows. And so she calls for her and she allows her to take care of her own baby without knowing it's her baby. The thing I want you to understand about this is that he had a stutter, he had a stammer. And a long time ago, I used to think that maybe it was because he was in that basket. He was on the Nile. He's out there with alligators, snakes, and everything else and just bumping on the waves. But as he grows and gets older, he meets up with God one day. He sees a bush that is burning and God begins to speak to him. And God begins to tell him a little bit about his life and what he's going to do with him as time goes on. And Moses decides he doesn't want to do it. And his reason for not wanting to do it is because he stammers, because he stutters. Some people stutter before they had those traumas or those incidents. Some people start stuttering and stammering after the trauma or the incident. But I'm going to talk about him for a second. When he was called by God to do this wonderful thing that he was called to do, he mentioned that. And God began to tell him something that I would have never thought would have come from God. He says, I made your mouth. In other words, he formed his mouth and made it be exactly what he wanted it to be. Oh, wow. God, you give this man a stammer, and it's because you wanted him to have a stammer. Oh, ladies, that's telling us something. That's telling us something. What it's telling us is that when we thought our faults were faults, they weren't faults. When we thought we were not equipped, we were equipped. As we are today moving on into life and deeper and growing more in life, we are learning something about ourselves. That the stammers that we had, that the stammers that we gained are not to discount us in any way. It causes us to push a little harder to move forward. It causes us to be a little more than we are, or should I say, than we thought we were. So, I want to encourage you today that when you get your roses, when you get your chocolate, when you get your blessing, your coffee, whatever it is, whatever is near and dear to your heart, if it's a poem you write, if it's a song you sing, whatever it is that's near and dear to your heart, I want you to remember first, if you know the wonderful God that I do, oh, you did this for me. And then I want you to look in the mirror and say, look at what God blessed you to do for me. Because, baby, every day you wake up, you're using your superpowers. You might not even know it. Part of your superpowers is what you do for your children. But let me tell you, they're very active when you can do it in a nice way. Part of your superpowers is being patient when you can be patient, is being kind when you can be kind. And not only that to everybody else, but to yourself. I told you guys on the last video, and I mean it, when it's time to think of you, you have the right to think of you. And however you're feeling at the moment, if you're feeling grouchy, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling like you just don't have a time to communicate, you don't want to communicate right now, get to yourself. You have the right to. Get to yourself, rethink your thing, rework your plan, get back up with a smile on your face or however you like to look, and keep going. Use your superpowers to be the best you can be, one day at a time. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.